Oh, I got you. I hear you. I hear you. Okay. Melissa, are you sure this is domestic violence? Yeah. Hey, Lisa. Hey, okay, sorry. I got a lot going on. I'm sorry. Oh, anytime, anytime. If you want to put this on the air, yeah. Copy. Hopefully, I can hear Brooke. Yes. I don't. I want to stay with it the best we can and just stay with it. And maybe we'll play it by ear. Maybe he's going to turn. I'm being serious. He might hit Manchester and make a turn to the east. And if he doesn't, I don't know what we're going to do. Copy. We have a pursuit going on out here, and this is going to be in the Baldwin Hills area. Actually, Ladera Heights is where we just entered. Now you can see that white Maserati right there. Then it is making its way onto it's been on La Brea. It's been running red lights, but it's staying south. Sorry about that. Anyways, we're making our way on La Brea southbound. This is going to be very difficult for Skyfox because we're starting to get into that LAX area, and I was hoping that he would make a turn, but he's been staying south on La Brea. Even the LAPD airship is going to have to make some sort of decision, but they have the guys on the ground. You can see two of them right there. Domestic violence is about the best we're going to say right now for what that suspect is originally wanted for, but I can tell you that that vehicle has been running red lights, pretty much every red light, as we make our way up to another major right here. Now, the vehicle speeds, well, let's just say reasonable. Haven't been extremely high. There you go through another red light right there, but it's been continuing southbound on this on La Brea, and it's just been making its way into the LAX's airspace. Hopefully he'll make a turn here somewhere. Otherwise, Skyfox might have to break off for a little bit to reacquire this pursuit. But LAPD, they're definitely on the ground right there. Two vehicles. This has been going on for a few minutes. It was off of Western for the longest amount of time. Started over by the Coliseum and made its way over here to La Brea, and then it made that turn to the south. But the driver has been continuing running the red lights. You can see right there those speeds. They are about what the freeway speed should be. We are actually in the Inglewood area right now, and that vehicle continues to move southbound. LAPD staying right behind it. A full pursuit. Another red light right there. Every time that happens, I got to tell you, my heart does kind of skip a beat because I'm always worried for any of the civilians that might be in that area.
Hey, Stu, so do we know how many people are in this car?
Well, right now we know that there definitely is just the driver in there, and you can see it's continuing southbound. And again, when they have these domestic dispute type of calls, those are usually the most dangerous for LAPD in general. Not sure exactly how this started, and we heard something about, and again, this is also unconfirmed information, something about that driver possibly being following a bus with the spouse in there or the partner in that bus, and that's what got LAPD's attention. When they got behind it, that's when that pursuit started. Chris doing an amazing job with Skyfox. We keep climbing just to keep this shot up. I'm hopeful that he'll make a turn somewhere around here and make this easier for us because I don't want to break away from it, but right now we still have pretty clear view of it, but we can't make our way any farther south because of the traffic landing at LAX, so we're kind of staying here. The car is continuing to go farther and farther away. Are they pit approved? Well, LAPD, we heard the word a couple of times, but we haven't seen an opportunity for that unit to be able to make that pit maneuver. So right now, you can see that vehicle just continuing southbound on La Brea, running almost every red light. LAPD doing what they can to stay behind it. My pilot, Chris, doing an amazing job. We're actually making our way over to the 405, but at this altitude, we can keep an eye on what's going on as long as it doesn't get behind these buildings. But again, Brooke, this is a pursuit, domestic violence suspect in there. And again, usually, those are generally one of the most dangerous type of calls. And you can see that vehicle making driving over the center divider right there. So possibly making a U-turn. I got to get a hold of my pilot, Chris. Chris, he's making a U-turn. He's going northbound. He's going northbound, Chris.
The direction they came from. You know,
he did hear me.
Stu, on one note, you know, obviously domestic dispute calls are known to be some of the most dangerous for officers, and also traffic calls of any kind known to be the most dangerous. And so this, in some ways, pairs the two, and so you can just kind of put in perspective the importance of getting this vehicle off the road.
Definitely, and whenever it's anything domestic, it always becomes emotional, and when the emotions are involved, all reason. Most of the time, when we follow these pursuits, people ask me, "Is like, what do you think they're thinking?" You don't think they're thinking much of anything, and when you start throwing emotions in there, it really just opens up the door for something that could end poorly. We're actually making a U-turn, so we are going to be getting closer to it. That car continuing on. Now we're on the wrong side of the road right there. Now making its way northbound on La Brea, basically just going back from the same direction where it came. But the speeds, I gotta say, for some reason they're staying in relatively. Well, now I'm seeing 70 miles an hour. I don't think they're actually going 70 miles an hour, but they've been relatively normal. I'm not saying anything outrageous, but definitely continuing to weave in and out. Traffic getting close to other vehicles, driving on the wrong side of the road. Anytime that any of that's happening, I'm always more worried about the other vehicles that are on the road with that driver.
Yeah, obviously, this is actually where I used to live, La Brea and Cincinnati. They're right there. So I know just how busy this area is, even around this time of day, and not just cars, but people crossing the street, pedestrians walking up and down the streets. This is a busy area, even if you're not totally able to see it from the video here, Stu. But, can you tell us a little bit of what you know about this area?
Well, I'm just kind of along with you. I have a friend of mine that lives in this general area as well. But right now, we're actually making our way out of that area, and making our way back into the Baldwin Hills area. I kind of wonder if this car is going back to the original where it started, because basically it just made a U-turn and now is heading back north on La Brea and heading back towards Jefferson. We'll see what happens. There's the LAPD helicopter now using that center divider. That one LAPD unit was relatively close at many times. Look how close that car is to the suspect. So possibly we might see a pit maneuver if it is able. Like right now, you couldn't do it. You have all those other vehicles around there. But if there's an opportunity that presents itself, we might actually see a pit maneuver try to bring this thing to an end. But LAPD, they're doing what they can to keep the public safe right now. They got lights and sirens on. That's the only thing they can do. That driver, that suspect running from the law enforcement right now, still maybe in an emotional state, but definitely trying to keep away from the law enforcement. Not a good situation at all. At least we're staying in the right lanes, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of traffic with that vehicle. And again, LAPD, they are in pursuit. The suspect wanted for some sort of domestic situation.
Yeah, police pretty close behind this car, and just obviously it seems obvious, but just watching the car go, down the turning lane, in the center lane, driving straight down the whole time, slowly moving through these very busy intersections, this is just incredibly dangerous.
Whoa.
Oh,
definitely dangerous.
Bike, yeah.
Did you see that right
yeah,
there? It looked like
terrifying.
That car was actually making now we're on the wrong side of the road, was making a beeline for that pedestrians, the bicyclists. It was like almost a threatening move. A lot of times, look at that. Oh, jeez. Could you just imagine being right here, on Stalker right here?
That's what I just keep thinking of. You just have no idea what's coming.
And you're kind of stuck in those lanes right there. They had that. You're just driving along on Stalker, and then all of a sudden you've got this car going the wrong way. And then they had an LAPD vehicle there as well. They do what they can. And, a lot of times I've talked to a lot of folks about that, and they're just like, why don't they just ram it? Why don't they just... Because you just can't. That's not... You just can't do that. It just doesn't work that way, especially here in Los Angeles. So they have protocol in place, and they cannot just smash into a suspect's vehicle, and especially somebody... And again, we haven't heard the words of any kind of being armed, but they always have to assume the worst and hope for the best. That's basically law enforcement in its finest. That's the best they can do. Right now, though, you got the LAPD in force behind it. You got a number of vehicles again following. Luckily, we are back on the right side of the road, or the correct side of the road. But that vehicle continues to elude officers, and hopefully, we're not going to see any kind of posturing like we saw just moments ago, where that vehicle apparently, or seemed like it was actually targeting some pedestrians there on the side of the road. Thank goodness nobody got hurt. But again, this pursuit's continuing out here. Now we're in the Windsor Park area. And again, speeds, well, they are above whatever the posted limit is. But that vehicle, as well as I do, that Maserati can do a lot better than that, and is keeping within reason. But still, as far as any other laws of street laws, not at all. Wrong side of the road, running red lights, anything you can imagine. Yep. Brooke, that is the thing that I always worry about. Law enforcement, they I've said this before in the past as well. They are concerned about the safety of that suspect as well as anybody else around that vehicle. They are responsible for everything that's happening in that pursuit. But my fears have always been more, let's just say, grounded. I worry about any of the people that are around this car. Like you said, unsuspecting people, you're just going about your day, and then you've got this person barreling through red lights, running from law enforcement, and that's when the tragedies happen. We've seen it in the past. Don't want to see it again. You've just saw that vehicle making all these crazy turns, now starting to weave in and out of traffic. I'm wondering if LAPD is actually backed off because of that driving, and are now just in more of a tracking mode. The helicopter's still above it, but coming up on a solid red right there. Thank goodness there were no other vehicles there, and now making another turn. Now we're back onto Jefferson, and this is where this thing started. This is where we picked this up earlier on. So basically making a big giant loop. Don't know what's going on. Hopefully this person is working through whatever emotions they might be having right now and might come up with a relatively calm answer and just pull over, get out of that vehicle, try and run. But, let's just hope that nobody gets hurt. Yep. And yeah, and you saw, oh, look at this. I guess we're going home. It looks like we're pulling into a back of an apartment complex right here. This is definitely going to be off of West Street, and you got some folks out front where Skyfox is going to move around. We're going to try to get to the back there. But clearly there's something that these folks know what's going on. That vehicle stopping, the door open. Sorry, we are. We get to see that suspect getting out of the vehicle. And just basically kind of parked the vehicle and getting inside. Maybe not the most dramatic ending, but definitely the endings that we want to see. Like right now, that vehicle definitely stopped. Law enforcement, you can see the helicopter above. Officers arriving here on scene. This may turn into some sort of standoff, but clearly that driver parking the vehicle, going inside this apartment complex. We're going to listen in and see if we can get some information about what the officers are going to do. Oh, never mind. Oh, no. That's not the ending. So the shots have been fired. The suspect is definitely down. And apparently he came out to the front, and he did have a weapon and was posturing, and now that suspect is down. Brooke, I don't know if we can get in any tighter because there are family members down there as well, but definitely shots fired, and definitely that suspect is down. Definitely. Yep. I have to be very careful on what I show on television right now because we are live. But these are people that probably, I would venture to say, know that suspect. They are taking them into custody because I don't think any charges are going to be filed against him. But apparently that suspect did come out from behind the building and was posturing towards officers, and then the shots were fired. Those two made their way over to that suspect. Now law enforcement is going to go over there. It is for us, thank goodness, that suspect underneath the tree, so we can't actually see what's going on right now. But I do know for a fact that suspect is down and bleeding. There's another person that was with that suspect on the ground. You can see that clearly very, very emotional. And again, this is one of those times when officers, they have to separate family members from the ones that are injured because of their actions. Right. Definitely. And yeah, and Lots of emotions indeed, and also this is definitely a holiday weekend. But all that put aside, right now I know that an ambulance has been called to this location. Will be arriving here shortly. If there's anything that they can do for that victim, maybe even some of the LAPD officers are able to offer some sort of aid. But right now, a number of officers, that suspect definitely down. Again, I don't want to put anything on television that that I will regret showing later on. So right now you have that suspect down in the driveway here off of West Boulevard in the West Adams area, and what an unfortunate ending. It didn't have to end like this. And that suspect coming out apparently with a weapon, and shots were fired, and now that suspect is down. I can't say his condition, but I can tell you that law enforcement taking family members away right now from this area, and other officers still here, and of course we are waiting for the paramedics to show up. Right, and that the vehicle's still in the back there, and that driver again. We've said it in the past, and you and I talked about it even during this chase. Is any kind of domestic violence calls are the most dangerous for law enforcement, and here again you see why people thinking with their emotions and maybe not the most rational, but definitely very very emotional and very. And just making the wrong calls this afternoon. It was some sort of pursuit. There's the vehicle in the back. He definitely parked it. I thought he went into the building. Apparently, he chose to come around. Yeah, he chose to come around the side. I definitely saw those shots being fired, and that suspect went down. Again, the investigation is going to be going on. They're going to figure out exactly what happened. There's probably plenty of body cam footage, so they'll be able to, know exactly what happened. But again, what a tragic ending to a short pursuit this afternoon.